2, 3, 4.
Places, almost time for places. Thank you, 5.
5 minutes to places.
Thank you, 5.
So, Sam,
Yeah.
do you remember your first artistic experience? Like the one that was like it's a wrap. I'm going to be a theater person.
I remember that I got to be on stage as Juliet when I was in second or third grade. And it wasn't like we didn't do Romeo and Juliet. It wasn't the main show. It was the Christmas show. And to give, I guess, more kids more stuff to do, we did like commercials in the middle of the show. And it was a commercial for glasses. And they did the thing that everybody always does with "Wherefore art thou, Romeo," thinking that it's "Where are you, Romeo?"
Right. That's awesome.
But I had to learn the first like 4 lines of Juliet's of Romeo, Romeo. And I wore a dress and I had a wig, and I remember learning my very first 4 lines of Shakespeare and being super into it. And I didn't really do any more acting until I was a senior in high school, but that was where I got bit.
Wow. That's so awesome that your first experience was a hybrid classical and comedy.
Right?
Now, did you go to an all-boys school? Is that why you were
No,
Juliet, or just
no.
you were the prettiest?
Maybe I was the prettiest.
Mhm.
I couldn't tell you why.
That's
I remember my Romeo was a guy named Steve Nelson. Stephen Nelson was a very beautiful young black man who was 7 or 8.
Wow.
He knelt.
That's so cool.
Kneeling on the.
Aw, little Juliet. Well, so it was quite a few years between that first time and then high school.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty much that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so what, it's been a while since high school, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so what keeps you going? Like, what inspires you? What's the thing? Like, why do you keep doing it?
So the flip answer is because I can't really do anything else. And then the real answer is because I just keep finding new forms and new things that are exciting to me, working on all of the immersive stuff going back to STRATA in 2012, where we had the opportunity to just grab people's perspective and break it. That kind of thing really excites me a lot. And I think being able to do it live is what I'm most inspired and excited by. Although now being in sort of lockdown and quarantine, I'm looking for ways to do it virtually and with VR and online. And that's also pretty exciting, to bring the tools that I've learned over into the virtual realms.
Is there a project that you desperately want to work on? Is there something like you're really like dying to get your
It's funny, there's this idea that I've been cooking, and I've written a couple of grants about it, and it's like it's too big, as immersive projects almost always are. But I want to do an immersive Romeo and Juliet that's like, I think the thing that's really interesting about Romeo and Juliet is that it was written in response to a crazy amount of like basically teen street violence. Like that was something that was happening all the time and all over, in London and also in Italy where it's set. And it was a really serious problem. Like I read a great book about sword making and how swords became, basically it was like a fashion accessory. They were very expensive. And so people were very, it was that kind of like consumer culture thing where people were like, look at me, I've the conspicuous consumption of the sword. But the problem was that swords are also weapons, and
Yeah.
weapons that you can use on the street. And so the whole sort of dueling culture started to sort of came out of how swords had become this fashion accessory in the first place. And it was terrible. Like there was, we have it today, of course, violence breaking out on the streets.
Mhm.
But the whole opening of Romeo and Juliet is a whole bunch of street violence between these teenagers, and really interested in doing an immersive where you're right there smack on the street with all of this like crazy physical violence breaking out around you, and then finding our way into the Romeo and Juliet story through that.
Wow. That's gosh, all immersive experiences are, scary.
Yeah.
They're just scary. And the idea of putting real fear,
Yeah.
violence in that is interesting to think about. Well, like, what is stopping you from doing that? Like, what's
Money.
what?
Money.
Oh, what's that?
Convincing some. I mean, it would be I went and filled out an application once to try to get some money to do a project like this, and it was a smaller arts organization, and they were like, "Are you crazy?" So yes, clearly I'm
Mhm.
crazy. So it would be a matter of basically could maybe do it at a university someday, somewhere where there was a lot of there were a lot of resources at my disposal that I could uh, utilize to build something like that.
Yeah. Well, like, university, speaking of like young people, who are you really digging these days? Whose work? I mean, it doesn't have to be a young person at all, but like whose work is something you're like super excited about and want to see more of?
I really enjoyed I've enjoyed everything I've seen by the Complicité company from London. They do a really interesting hybrid of like you're sitting in your seat, but you're also totally immersed in the experience.
Mhm.
I got to see uh, Memento, and that was an experience where within the first 5 minutes you were asked to reach under your seat, and there was a sort of bag of stuff under your seat, including a mask, an eye mask that you would put on.
Mm.
And then you were blind, and you just got to listen to Simon McBurney tell you awesome facts about things. And then, I'm sorry, Mnemonic, not Memento. I do that all the time. Mnemonic is the name of the play. And so I'll see anything that those guys do. I find them really interesting.
And did you have to go there to see them, or were they brought here?
No, that was I saw that one in Brooklyn. They were at the BAM, I think.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, I really love the Festival of Firsts here
Yeah,
because,
me too.
bringing those pieces of work. I don't travel enough, and can't afford to travel to all of the places I want to go to see all the companies that I just read about and I'm so blown away by. And I'm really so glad that we have that program here.
Yeah.
If we, who knows, but
5 minutes to places.
5 minutes to places.
5 more minutes.
Didn't we get 5 minutes already?
We got 5 minutes already.
Not 5 minutes. Oh,
I guess they're holding the house.
yeah, I guess so. That means we have a big house.
Remember big houses?
Oh God.
Uh.
I do.
Places.
Oh,
There it is.
5 minutes. Thanks, places. Well,
Thank you, places.
it's showtime.
It's showtime.
I'll see you on the boards.
Okay, I'll see you out there.
Have a great show.
Have a great show.
Bye.
Break them all.